Today I'm going to talk about 3 different types of methods of prepping the bases in terms of filling gouges. The first will be with PTEX candles, the second with PTEX powder, and thirdly using a PTEX gun. First of all, I'd like to start off talking about use of PTEX candles and some of the tools that you would need in doing your base prep. Sandpaper, normally a 320 silicone carbide sandpaper. This sandpaper will not get grit into your bases. Okay, I stay away from the 120 grit and go with a finer grit. This is more for finishing off and smoothing out the base after it has been filled, either with the candle, the gun, or with the powder. A sharp stainless steel scraper. I like to put a burr on the scraper, so I'll take a file and I'll run it along the edge, creating a burr. This burr is especially important in cutting the PTEX off of the base so that leaves a smooth finish. Next, a sharp plexi scraper. If I don't need to use the steel scraper, which will take away some of the base structure, I'll try and use a sharp plexi scraper. I use a drywall screen, which we sell here at ARTECH, and I run that across the drywall screen, again, to put a nice sharp edge to cut the PTEX smoothly from the base. Here is a chip cut file. This happens to be a 10-inch one. We use either 8 or 10. I find the 10-inch ones work best for any base repair works. This one will always leave a smooth finish. It's also great for finishing off the heel plates on your skis. Some Fibertex pads, and this is your finished product that you use on the base. Gets everything out, all the fiber hairs, takes them away, and leaves you with a very, very fine finished product. We use a microjet butane torch for melting the PTEX candles. The higher you can use the heat on a candle, the less carbon buildup you'll get. Whenever you're doing any sort of base repairs with a candle, you'll want to have everything close to the ski base and not dripping at high distances where you'll get carbon buildup. The PTEX candles come in either a white or black sintered base material. It has a content of wax in it so that it helps it burn. Therefore, a candle will erode in the base over a period of time, especially skiing on hard conditions. We're going to make sure that the core of the ski has warmed to room temperature before we attempt any base repairs. If we were to bring the ski in from the cold and try repairing the base immediately, none of the methods would work, as the repairs would simply fall out or not adhere to the base. Before starting any repairs, make sure the skis have warmed to room temperature. Then take some base cleaner and spray it onto the base of the ski. After you've sprayed it on, clean the base with the material. You see, clean the dirt out of the gouge, wiped off the excess cleaner, and we now move on to the next step by taking the candle and a steel scraper. We simply take our butane torch, light the candle, and you'll want to make sure that before you start any repairs that you get the candle to drip in a steady stream. I use a metal scraper to drip the part of the candle until it gets going in a steady stream. This removes some of the carbon buildup that you would get in the skis. We want to avoid any carbon buildup on the ski base because it will be detrimental to the wax absorption of the base. Once we get it going in a pretty steady stream, pretty good stream, we're going to start dripping it into the base. And if you're going to the next gouge, then you would move over to another spot on the ski base. Now when you have gouges beside the base edge, then you'll use metal grip. And metal grip is a harder plastic, does not absorb the wax, but it does adhere to the metal and act as a filler. When you're done, let your PTEX cool. Take a sharp plexi scraper as your first method and put it down on a flat surface. Run your scraper across the drywall screen. After it's cooled to touch, scrape it, move, and then move to the next area. You can draw the scraper or you can push the scraper. Either method or technique is fine. Once you've done that and you've smoothed it out, then take your sandpaper and wrap it around your scraper if you'd like. And then smooth it out with a Scotch-Brite pad to get the remaining hairs out of the way. This is your base repair right there where my thumb is, and also over here by the edge. Again, a nice smooth surface has been put in and the repair has been made. The next method would be using Toco base repair powder. This is pure base powder, base material, and it's simply sprinkled into the gouge, which must be a substantial gouge in order for it to hold, and placing a protective plastic shield over the top and using a wax iron and heating it up for 30 seconds and then letting it cool before removing the shield, and then you'll finish it off with the sandpaper and the Scotch-Brite pads. Sprinkle the powder, which is 100% base material, graphite material. Sprinkle it into the base gouge. Apply a heat shield over the top and apply a hot iron, and the recommended temperature for the iron is 140 degrees Celsius or 285 degrees Fahrenheit, and apply the iron to the base material. Hold it on for 20 to 25 seconds and then remove the iron. Let it cool and then remove your plastic shield. After doing that, then you'll take your plexi scraper and scrape it as you had for the PTEX candle. The last and final method, and perhaps the best method of all for those skis that receive serious gouges, is the use of the PTEX gun. For best results and permanent base repairs, I highly recommend the use of a base repair gun. Simply make sure that the ski base is warm to room temperature. The gouge has been properly cleaned with a base cleaner, wiped clean, and then we apply the base material from the gun across the gouge in a slow, steady fashion. Once that's done, we let the base material cool. We'll take a sharp plexi scraper or a metal scraper, and again, putting a burr on the scraper. Start from the shovel and go to the tail and smooth out the material. You can then take a flat file or a chip cut file. Here's a 10-inch chip cut file. Use it in a diagonal fashion so that and keep your thumbs over the base of the ski. Don't have your hands to the outside or you'll bow the file and change the base bevel. Keep the thumbs and the elbows thumbs over the base, elbows in, and simply draw the file down over the area that has been filled to smooth out the base material. And go over it with a Scotch-Brite pad. Take any remaining PTEX hairs off. Should you need to fine-tune it, take your sandpaper, smooth it out, and then go over it again with a Scotch-Brite pad. When I have a brand new pair of skis and I go to take them out of the plastic, the first thing I do, and this doesn't matter whether it's a Head or Fisher, Atomic, I want to make sure that as I remove the ski from the plastic, that I clean the base. Most bases come from the factory with some sort of spray-on protectorant. I either use a Glide Wax cleaner from Swix, which is a great floral remover, or I use an ARTECH wax remover. Simply spray this material onto the base in a generous manner. As you can see there, take a fiberline cloth and wipe down the base to clean off all of the impurities. And this is done to remove those impurities before embedding any wax into the base of the ski. We don't want to be waxing dirt into the base, as it will cause the ski to not glide to its optimum. As you can see, the dirt and grime from a brand new pair of skis right out of the package. Once the ski is dried, take a brush and brush out the base. I usually use a brass brush or a nylon brush. I check the base for flatness, and should it need to be ground, if the structure's not very good, then I run the ski through the grinder, and then I bring the ski up and we set it up for a base prep wax. We're going to be using today a tungsten base prep wax from ARTECH. This is our own special brand. This particular brand of wax has great penetration properties. It's very, very soft with a very low melting point, and it's easily absorbed into the base of the material. The next thing we do is we take a smaller portion of this wax and we touch it to our wax iron. We've had the wax iron set at a proper temperature so that the iron is not smoking as we wax. Simply touch the bar to the iron and crayon the wax down the base of the ski. You can go either way. It's not that important. We're just crayon the wax onto the material. The purpose of this is to make sure that the entire base of the ski is protected from the heat of the base of the iron before we do any actual ironing on the ski. Drip your wax plentifully down the base of the ski. You want to make sure that there's always a plentiful amount of wax between the iron and the base of the ski so that you do not run the risk of burning. Next, you're going to take the iron and you're going to run the iron down the ski, creating a wet tail following the iron of about 5 or 6 inches. Ironing like this is a no-no. Okay, this will cause the heat to be located in one particular spot for a period of time. If you're waxing skis with bindings, then you'll heat up the area around the screws and you can run the risk of searing the base material near the screws. Take a sharp scraper, run from the front or the shovel towards the tail of the ski. This is for prepping the skis before tuning or doing any edge work on your skis so that you give your base some sort of protection from the filings to the base material.